everyone, welcome to the second video from this postcard from Small Victories, and this is from the page of 4 castles, and we're going to do this second one. I don't have another postcard with the others on, so I'll just be doing these two. Now I'm going to start this one here with these leaves because I think that it's going to be easier to do the bricks once the leaves are done, in my opinion. So I'm going to grab the cadmium green pale to start with to do the leaves, and I'm just going to do the whole leaf, block it in with this, and then we're going to put another colour on our leaves in a bit, but we'll just start with this one. It's a nice, I like these sort of olives. I mean, I wouldn't normally, well, I don't know what colour cadmium green is. I thought it was normally red, cadmium, but I don't know what the word means. So maybe it just means pigment or something. You know, maybe it's not specific to one colour. But in the polychromos, for example, the cadmiums are the yellows, orange and reds. So I don't know. And names vary a lot, don't they? So, I mean, some go across, you know, you can have a permanent something, and that could be many different colours. Red, green, blue. And Mars usually means a sort of darker, almost blackish version. But you can have Mars violet, Mars orange, Mars black, which is brown. It can get a bit confusing, can't it? That's why it's good to have a swatch chart, and then you know what you're doing. I didn't used to understand them all, need them all, want them. But that was when I only had a few sets of pencils, and now I've got lots. I quite understand it, because pencils like this set, which I've only just got, I don't know what the colours look like because the names aren't always that obvious. So having a swatch chart can help, just so that you can make sure you're using the right colour. I used to tend to just scribble on a scrap piece of paper all the time, and I think that's a waste of time really, and a waste of a bit of pencil. Now I think I might go, yes, Prussian green next. And what I'm going to do is just put a little bit at the base of each leaf, just to darken it a tad. You don't have to do this step if you're still catching up and you like just a plain colour, or this is too fiddly. You don't have to do it, or you might think, well, actually I can't really tell that you've done anything, you know, so just ignore this step. It's not always necessary to do every little fiddly bit, and it doesn't always make that much difference. Depends. And this is tricky because we're trying to fade it from the base into the colour we've got already. It's not always that easy, especially in a very small space. So there's some arguing coming from next door. My husband and son are working together. My son does get a bit cross at times when he gets stressed, like my husband used to, but he's getting better now. He's now he's on his meds, he's calmer, although he's raising his voice. It's quite difficult when someone's raising their voice at you not to raise your voice back. I can't do it, I have to say. I tend to. So if someone starts shouting, it makes my heart race and I get loud. There we go. Now you can go over them again with a yellowy green, like a leaf green light, or even a yellow, but I think that's fine. I'm not going to do more with that, I'm just going to leave it. What I will do actually, while I've got my green handy, the Prussian green, I'm going to do the grass in the Prussian green. I think it might just help to sort of tone our greenery together, because gosh, these are enormous bits of grass, or a teeny tiny house. If you it's not that similar, so it doesn't look the same, but it tones it together a little bit. Now I've been procrastinating enough, I've got to decide what colour bricks to do. Now there are some beautiful colours I'm tempted to try, but they'll be a little bit different. Let's do it. I'm going to try Old Rose. This is a gorgeous colour. It's a sort of grey pink. Now I haven't done the bits in between the bricks, which I did first last time, but we're going to do the bricks first this time. So I'm going to try this colour because I really like it. And it's paler and slightly pinky, but I think it might work. And I'm going to fade it towards the middle just like I did with the colour we did on the other castle. So a sort of defined edge and then sort of scumble it in and fade it. I hope that's working. The light just happens to be shining really brightly off this bottom corner. I can't really see. I'm just going for it. There we go. You can hear the boiler. It's quite cold today. It's very rainy and dull, and I think the heating's just coming on. I tend to have it on the days when people are home, which today my Sundal was home all day. Yeah, it's not usually on Monday mornings, and husband's going to be home on Monday, so it might get cold, but the warmer weather is coming, so maybe it'll be okay. It's not really cold, you know. I'm sure a lot of people are hoping for warm weather soon, because I know heating is very expensive. Now, I don't know what you think of this colour. I really like it, sort of pinkishness, but it still looks grey enough to work for bricks, I think. I just there's a couple of colours in these golds which fascinate me. This one and the light sepia, which I'm going to use as well. The oyster and the almond. Actually, the oyster is pretty much just a grey, but the almond is a little different, nice light colour, and the oyster, they're quite good for mushrooms. I use them for mushrooms in, oops, yes, that's right, that went wrong then. In the other video that I've been making, yesterday's video from the mushrooms. Well, I made it yesterday. I don't know whether it'll come out today or quite when. It's not always easy for me to keep track of my own videos. Now we need a darker colour to go in between. I think the Van Dyck brown might work for that. I'm going to make sure it's really sharp, and because it's a slightly reddish brown, so I think it'll work with this pinky tone. Oops, there we go, Van Dyck brown. So I'm going to use it in these little minuscule gaps between the bricks. We can actually fill in this space a little bit more. I quite like overemphasising. I didn't do this on the other one, but I quite like doing this. I feel it separates the bricks out. The thing is, I'm not quite sure what to do at the bottom. I think we'll leave the bottom. My stomach's gurgling. Shouldn't be. I had a big breakfast today because I've been hungry the last few days. I was actually snacking yesterday, which I don't like doing, so I'll have a bigger breakfast. Yeah, there we go. Now this turret, I actually think I will do in the same Old Rose colour, and the sepia light that I really like I might do for the roof or something. We'll see how it all goes. So I'm going to make this a bit darker on the edge, so I'm going to layer up here more, and then a little bit less towards the centre part, and layer up more here. and then a bit less here, so a bit darker on the edges. I think that works. And I want some shadows. I think I'll do that at the end. So now I'm going to use my sepia light, and I'm going to do I do this? See, this looks like wood, but the roof, I think I'm going to do the roof tiles in the sepia light. I want them darker at the top and lighter towards the bottom. They are rather small. If you struggle with this, just block them in. I don't even know if it's worth the effort of trying to lighten them towards the bottom or whether it really is going to show up. I'm going out of the lines. You don't have to. It's not really showing up, I don't think. It's darker at the top. I'm just layering up a little bit more. Oh, my son says the Wi-Fi at uni isn't working. I better send him a little message, or else he's going to think I'm ignoring him. Right, I just sympathised with him. He said it was raining when he got off the train as well, so he's really wet. And then he said the Wi-Fi at uni's dead. So I don't know if he'll be able to pick up my message. He's got a bit of data on his phone. Colour that in a bit. There we go. I don't know if you like this colour. Maybe I'm just a bit... And it's weird because it's called sepia light, but for me it just looks quite pinkish. Now, I can't decide what to do with this little building. Let me have a look at the colours I've got. I think I'm going to use the oyster, actually, our sort of grey, for this bit here. I'm just blocking that in, really. Make it a little bit dark on the edges. And for this plinth. But I am going to try and make this look a bit more wood-like, I think. And although the colours are fairly similar to this one over here, I'm hoping they're different enough to make it look interesting. I think this has still got a slight pinkiness to it. There we go. And I'm going to use the almond here for the building here to make it maybe look as if it's wood. This is a very pale colour, but I think going for something dark might look a bit weird as everything else is quite light. But we'll see how it looks once it's done. I'm going to layer it up a little bit. Don't want it to be too light. I think it will be okay. Yeah. Now, around our window and our chimney, I was thinking we could do the same sort of slightly metallic looking colour. We used Payne's Grey on the last one. I think we need something a little bit lighter. The Dove Grey actually might work. I think we've got a sharp bit there. I'm just going to go around the window without doing anything special, but here on this chimney we can do more on the edge. Sorry, my son just replied. But I don't need to reply. I just said I hope your Wi-Fi gets fixed, and he just wanted me to LMAO. He always puts LMAO. I think it's a young person thing. My niece always puts ha ha. whenever she writes anything. There we go. So it's still quite pale. Now down here we've got our little house. I think we're going to repeat some of the colours from here. I want to put in some shadows, but I'm going to do this little house first and then put them in. So I'm going to use the sepia light that I used for this roof, also for this one. Now it's going to be quite similar, I think, to this brick colour. So I'm actually going to put it down quite hard here, layering it up a bit so that it does look different. There we go. Now I don't think this house looks wooden like this one, but I'd quite like to keep the colour the same. So I'm going to grab my almond and do this main house bit here. I'm going to sneeze, I think, like that, nothing too special. And then our oyster, which I use for this brick, which I'm going to use for this bit. I'm going to try and fade it into the middle a little bit. Now we have the problem with this front door. What colour? And the matte. I don't really want to introduce another colour, to be honest. I think it might be a little bit odd. I am going to use, we use this the Van Dyck brown, sorry, for this shadow. I'm going to use this for the matte, but really lightly, like that. And then, whoops, I'm going to go over it with the almond so it looks a bit more solid, but it's not going to be any darker. That's a huge doormat. I think Johanna does her scaling a little bit odd. I think it's okay, but look, it's half the height of the front door. I still haven't decided on the colour of the door. We could go with the grey, or we could go with the old rose. I think I'm going to go with the old rose. Gosh, that needs sharpening. Like that. I'm going to block it in a fair bit. Now we need some light from the windows. We've got the window in the tower and the window in the door. There must be a load of steps going through here to get up there. Again, yesterday's I did very bright. It seemed to be night time with our candle and things. This one, not so much. I'm going to use the golden yellow, which is more of a muted yellow. It doesn't look it from the end, because we've got all these pale colours. I haven't done the door handle. Let's go for our Van Dyck brown. Oops, again for the handle. Now I want to do some shadows. I am going to use, what shall I use? I'm going to use a grey or a black. Maybe I need a black. Now, go careful with your black because it's a dark colour, obviously, and we've got a lot of lights going on. So here's our ivory black. I'm going to start right at the top here on the roof, and I'm just going to do the tiniest bit underneath each of the roof tiles. I'm putting it on gently. I don't want it to be really dark. I'm just hoping we can get the sort of shadow effect that I wanted. I tried to colour, but I couldn't get to work. Like that. You could put them in between, but I think I don't want my shadow underneath. Sorry, sniffing as usual. Now under here, this can be a little bit thicker because it would be overhanging. And here. Then under here, because this is overhanging, and then in here. And under this one. Now our plant is going to be creating a little bit of shadow. You don't have to do this, it's a bit fiddly. But one advantage of doing this is if you haven't coloured right up to the edge, like me, in places I've missed, it means that I'm covering it over now with the black. Just doing this underneath. There we go. Now here, where this is against the wall, it would have a bit of a shadow running down there under this roof. A bit fiddly because it's so bumpy, and then under here. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. I think I am happy and done with that one. So that one's much paler, but I really like those pale colours. But you know, if you want to do it more vibrant, you can obviously do it more like the one on the left. But I think it's nice to show you two different ways of doing it. So there we go. As requested, I was asked to do Small Victories with Castle Arts Gold. So there's a couple. Hopefully you'll be able to do the other two on the page if you're doing it from the book on your own. There they are both together. What I would tend to do was now, if you've got the other two to do the one that's diagonally above or below. I can't remember which way, whether these are the bottom ones. I think these are the bottom ones. Lighter, and do that one darker. So they're sort of opposites. That's how I would do it. But you could just do them completely different to each other. Yeah. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have a super day and happy colouring.